So what we're going to do is we're going to look at these Elephas Levi. And what's funny is look. Okay, you know we're in the letters and in their little words. Their little black magic words. Real quick. Black magic words. Look. 666. Alright. Then what we have is I'm gonna key in this. Soulless Goy blood is 777. And remember, 7 times 7 times 7 is 343. 343. The CDC, which is Satan. C is the third letter, D is the fourth. C is the third. The CDC is not letters, it's numbers. It's 343. It's the cube of 7. 777. Because they represent creating soulless goy in their blood with the rubber disconnecting their anatomies, the chemicals and the arsenic substances running through their anatomies, creating all the diseases because their anatomies are not at ease. When you have a disease, you're sinning. So we're going to look at what Elephas Levi says, but look, before we get into it, a new translation. Translated by Swinging Dick 1 and Swinging Dick 2. Translation. Take the O out of Lation and what do you have? Latin. Yeah. Everything, look, Latin, the letter U comes out of the Hebrew V, which is a whole nother video, but it's the 21st letter. That's why the U, Miami, the U, it has to do with these Jesuits. And they are a military order for the Vatican. Let me tell you what they are. They're programmed demons to control the goy, is what they are. So what we're going to do is just look at some of this. We're going to look at some of the what he says about black magic. We'll just read some what Levi says, even though it's been sifted, translated by Jesuits. So, the blazing pentagram says, we proceed to the explanation and consecration of the sacred and mysterious pentagram. At this point, let the ignorant and superstitious close the book. They will either see nothing but darkness or they will be scandalized. The pentagram, which in Gnostic schools is called the blazing star, it is the sign of intellectual omnipotence and autocracy. It is the star of the Magi. It is the sign of the Word made flesh, and according to the direction of its points, this absolute magical symbol represents order or confusion. The divine lamb of St. John or the accursed goat of Mendez. It is initiation of profanation. It is Lucifer or Jesus, the star of the morning or evening. It is Mary or Lilith, victory or death, day or night. The pentagram with 2 points in the ascendant represents Satan. Now, we went over this. This is yet some more literature telling you what it is. Books, because remember, this is an overseer. This is an overseer. All this is as written. Okay? So when we put in as written, Phoenician as written, 888. Now, what year was this nation founded? What year was it? 888 times 2. I'll show you. 888 times 2 is 1776. Okay, real quick. What is it? Oh, yeah. Hang on. Fuck. Let me go get this. Hang on. I did a video on this. We gotta keep reading. Okay, Metallica sings Blackened. So what we're going to do is, okay, look, Blackened Nat. You see that? N-A-T. The word nation is a two-part term. The first would be nat, N-A-T, which breaks down to N is the 14th letter, 1 and 4 is 5, A is the first, T is the 20th. So that term, N-A-T, is 512 as well. And then you have ion. Ion is a positive or negative current. And the term nat in Latin means born. So nation is born negative currents of Ahrimanic satanic energy. But 512 is what? The cube of 8. 8 times 8 times 8 is 512. Right there. Blackened Nat. So right off the bat, we have 1776, which is 888 times 2. There's 2 fucking cubes right there. Phoenician as written is 888 because this has to do with a term Phoenician. These books have had overseers over them. Overseer is 2 terms. Overseer. A seer, which would be a clairvoyant who can see into the future and the past and the other fucking side and all that shit. So when the printing press was created by these fake demons generationally to fucking bring in this shit that they're doing and create this sphere that nobody knows about, the whole time since the printing press has been overseen. They have overseers watching all this happening. So like Eliphas Levi, they want this to happen with him so they can watch and observe, take notes. They did him from a distance the same way they do the valedictorians in their schools, in the Goy. They pull that mind out, that intellectual, Ahrimanic, clever mind, and then they put it in their satanic structure universities, and then they use that brain in order to create more of what were slave demonism. Just like here. Because they'll say that he invoked a demon and some shit, but it's like, okay, so the pentagram with the 2 points in the ascendant represents Satan. So that means the 2 points up and the 1 point down. Okay. The 1 point up and the 2 down represents us. It says when 1 point is in the ascendant, it is the sign of the Savior. The pentagram is the figure of the human body, having the 4 limbs and a single point representing the head. A human figure head downwards naturally represents a demon. That is intellectual subversion, disorder, or madness, which is Ahrimanic through here, through this. You see what I mean? This creates what he says right here. Shit. Where'd it go? Intellectual subversion. See, Lucifer represents intellectualism, which is just memorization. There's not one human being observes anything that their career is in. Not one. No. They're so ignorant and so demon Ahrimanic ignorant that they cannot fucking, these impulses they've absorbed all these impulses their entire lives. That's what I'm saying. They're created at birth. Somebody just told me that one of their friends' child that's 5 was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Had to wear a fucking thing and everything. 5 years old. Yeah, and even them, and I said, these demons are not going to admit what I told them a long time ago. I said 7, 8 years ago, watch what happens in less than 10 years. And it's all coming to fruition now. And instead of them swallowing their Ahrimanic pride and saying I'm wrong, they'll stay in it. And they'll destroy that fucking child even more, because that child represents millions and millions of dollars to a fucking satanic industry of fucking demons. And it says, now if magic be a reality, if occult science, hidden, occult means hidden. So if hidden science be really the true law of the three worlds, this absolute sign, this sign, ancient as history and more ancient, should and does exercise an incalculable influence upon spirits set free from their material envelope. What was it? Hang on. I think it's Latin. There it is. See, in Latin, influences is 418. Remember, Latin, the reason I can see this is because I had a part in this at one point in time. So, this is what I was trying to tell you. That's my number. This is the... We talk about how soul is number in this, how Crawley talks about it. But if you'll start here at 418, where's it at? Right here. And it'll explain some to you. But this whole thing right here has to do with me. Oh, and a whole lot more. But that number right there alone is more important than anything, because it's 11 times 38. And see, from my birthday until my sobriety date, which was on Saturn, was 38 years, 11 days. Yeah, that's what he's trying to tell you. And in 2015 was his first full year. Take the 0 out backwards is 512, which is the cube of 8. So he went from Saturnian, the beginning, December 17th, into the full year on the cube of the 8. And the birthday is 12/7. Very important. You have numbers as well. Okay? So, I don't want to talk about much more of it, because some of this stuff is just so deep. But I was wanting to give you like another definition of what he's talking about. Even he talks about it in here, gematria. Let's see. It says, these hieroglyphical combination of letters and numbers belong to the practical part of the Kabbalah, which from this point of view is divided into gematria and themora. Okay? Such calculations, which now seem to us arbitrary or devoid of interest, belonged then to the philosophical symbolism of the East, and were of the highest importance in the teaching of holy things emanating from the occult sciences. So remember, emanation. We already went over this. God, this computer hates me. All right, there's emanation. We're not looking at the numbers. Remember, start with N, go that way, that's name, and then N this way is nation. Remember, these terms have had, I'm trying to tell you, look, the alphabet that you have, okay, was manipulated, conjured, hexed, cast many times over with demons. And these demons who have controlled society forever have impressed into you that what comes out of these books is reality when it's not. The only way that Satan could do what has happened is through a fucking printing press and through this fake technology. That's the only way. Oh, here's 9/11. And then, what was it? Yeah, there it is. 9/11 NAT 666. So you have NAT. You have NAT. Because the whole thing is you have nature and you have nation. Okay? Nation and nature. So, this is going to represent materialism. This is going to represent Arianism. They're both spirit, but I'm going to put our. So you've got two terms. You've got nation and nature. And then you've got one that represents materialism. And then one that represents, both are spirit, but the nature is ours. But these terms right here, U-R-E, you can rearrange it to R-U-E, Ru. Let's just see what that is. Because we've already, the term Nat is literally the cube of 8 when it comes to materialism. Even though we can divert that and apply that to nature. Because look, Jesus Greek 888. Right there. See, Jesus is 888. So, with that meant that, this is what I'm talking about. These demons they were conjured to put this alphabet and all this shit together. These terms. Satanic gematria was there before any fucking thing else after this. These Jesuits have created all the languages, all of the alphabets, everything that you can possibly imagine. These motherfuckers have created it to ingrain in your soul that there's no way out. So for not just centuries, but for dozens and dozens and dozens of generations, just ignorance, more ignorance, materialism, demonism. And that's where we are. Yeah, see, you rearrange the nature, it's bitterly regret. So they tell you a little bit in the name nature. The last part of nature, U-R-E, rearranged, has to do with regret. Because when we cross over as an ion, definition of ion, an atom or molecule with a net electric charge due to the loss or gain of one or more electrons. An atom, or a molecule with a net, the internet electric charge due to the loss or gain. So you represent an ion. And really, I has to do with your pineal gland, and on has to do with the sun, the city of Heliopolis, which is in Scripture, but they won't tell you that. So what we have is in the word nation, you have a cube of 8, and then you have atoms and molecules, electric charges due to the loss or gain. It would be a loss because it's materialism. So the word nation, nations, ends with an S. S has to do with serpent and all that shit. Yeah, that's why NASA and all these fucking words they have. So now you're starting to understand how these terms, because if we're split it in half, NAT is 3, ION is 3. So there's your 33 ritual. They're combining a cube that has to do with unseen soul prisons in with the soul, which is an electric charge current, which is a negative current now. And all these goy, and every one of them going across represent this 8th sphere, this cube of 8, these ions of negative charges, of substances of black magic that they've consumed and they're absorbing and just frequent, and just they're demons. I'll have to go back and watch the last 5 minutes because I really don't know what the fuck was said. I just know that whatever said just got going. Let me try to find this part about some of the black magic before I get lost and just start letting it rip. All right, black magic, 135. And this is the other book, so it might say the same. It says, we approach the mystery of black magic. We're about to confront, even in his own sanctuary, the black god of the Sabbath, the formidable goat of Mendez. At this point, those who are liable to fear should close the book. Even persons who are prey to nervous impressions will do well to divert their attention or to abstain. Nervous impressions are created from birth. Okay, especially through TV. Then they go to the doctor. You need some pills. Let me go to this book over here. It says give this black magic to you. So we found out in Crawley, numbers represent souls. So you eat pills with numbers on them. So you're eating dead fucking souls. We have undertaken a task and we must complete it. Let us first all address ourselves frankly and boldly to the questions. Is there a devil? What is the devil? At this first point, science is silent. Philosophy denies it at hazard. Religion only answers in the affirmative. As to the second point, religion states that the devil is the fallen angel. Hidden philosophy accepts and explains this definition. Damn. It will be unnecessary to repeat what we have said previously on the subject, but we may add further revelation. In black magic, the devil is the great magical agent employed for evil purposes by a perverse will. The old serpent of the legend is nothing else than the universal agent, the eternal fire of terrestrial life, the soul of the earth, and the living center of hell. We have said that the astral light is the receptacle of forms, and these, when evoked by reason, are produced harmoniously, but when evoked by madness, they appear disordered and monstrous. So originated the nightmares of St. Anthony and the phantoms of the Sabbath. Do therefore the evocations of Goetia, Goetha, however you want to pronounce it, and demon mania produce a practical result. Yes, certainly one which cannot be contested, one more terrible than could ever be recounted in legends. When anyone invokes the devil with intentional ceremonies, the devil comes and is seen. To escape dying from horror at that sight, to escape idiocy, one must be already mad. Grandier was a libertine through indevotion and perhaps also through skepticism. Excessive zeal following on the aberrations of asceticism and blindness of faith depraved Gerard and made him deprave in his turn. In the 15th chapter of our ritual, we shall give all the diabolical evocations and practices of black magic. Not that they may be used, but they may be known and judged, and that such insanities may be put aside forever. So I'm saying, you gotta fucking look and read, even if we know what it is, because you don't know what we have been programmed with, which is black fucking magic. It says, whose book, I ain't getting into more of it, but it says over here in the footnotes, 15 is the number of the antagonism and of whatever. 15 is this set right here is the devil. That's the 15th card. So 15 is a very evil number. And it says, we have said that the devil exists and is 1,000 times more horrible and pitiless than the blackest legends represent. His essentially hybrid form is the synthesis of all nightmares. In our brain, he destroys reason. In our heart, he poisons liberty, and so does always. For he is not a person, but a blind force. May the force be with you. He is accursed, but it is with ourselves. He sins, but it is in us. We alone are responsible for the evil which he causes us to do. For in him there is neither freedom nor reason. The devil is the beast. An evocation is therefore an appeal to the beast, and the beast alone can answer. To manifest the beast, it must be first formed within us and then projected without. To create the beast within us, we must destroy the man. And that's what I've said. If you've had a substance problem, that's a demon. And that means you've got that demon under lock, but he's still inside of you. So what I'm saying is are you are you fucking bad enough to, I hate the word meditate, but are you bad enough to look further to see if you can see what tried taking you out? Because they will appear. They will appear. Listen, I'm to where when, certain things are cut, I'm cutting grass and all that, I can see the spirit fly away on the other side, just like how birds fly away together and they're startled. Because it doesn't matter when you pull something out by the roots. Earth is life. She's alive. What happens when you pull a hair out of your head? It fucking hurts. So that's what I'm saying. We are designed. We are demons. Demons is what we are. You go buy fucking arsenic, toxic poisons and go poison the fucking elements that you were made from. And when you go to the other side, not just that, every fucking thing that we've uploaded with this comes out and surrounds you. Now you need to multiply that by billions of dummies going across with 50 fucking thousand plus hours of garbage AI, of fucking black magic being uploaded. That sphere is where everybody is going. I love you.